I see that you're saying something great, I'm going to give you good credit. I'm absolutely going to give you good credit. So please understand that this is important for me, that you guys give some good discussion out of this. I see there's 11 of you. So that means that you'll be saying things that are very, very in touch with everything. I'm not going to give you credit for the good old regular items. Let me give you an example of what a bad, you know, point is, because you're getting now graded on points, guys. You really are. So a bad point would be like, I know I'm not recording yet for the regular lecture, so I'm going to give you an example of a bad point. Okay. Identify outliers. Outliers are situations that are certainly good or bad, Professor Puente. That's probably going to get you like a 20%. Okay. Let me give you a good 95% grade on your discussion. Okay. An outlier is like trying to understand, and don't use the word like because it's really bad academically. An outlier is trying to understand an item that is an extreme from the medium. You're gonna get 95. Okay. Try to use your creative mind so the way you can actually get a good grade here. Okay. If you're not participating on this discussion grade, you're gonna get a 0, even though you're here. Okay. Even though you're paying attention to the class, you have to participate. This is kind of the whole point of this. Okay. So please don't give up on participating. Otherwise, you're not going to understand what's happening. Okay. Any last minute points? Anybody want to try on points? Octavia's typing. This is really good. My favorite. This one last week was my favorite part. Part 3 is, I love part 3. Okay. Oh, I don't know why I see. Tamara says, I guess I think I know what's happening. Here we go. So sorry, guys. I just see your messages. So if we have attended the online discussions, do we still need to go back and do the entire discussions? If you've attended the entire discussion and you feel comfortable with your grade, Tamara, meaning that when we discuss these items and you are, comfortable that you gave a good discussion, then you don't need to. You just need to make sure you place on D2L that you were part of that discussion. No, I don't think so, Tamara. Kelly, for example, I think she gave really good reasonings on her comments. Good. I was about to ask the same thing. Should we do discussion? I think, Kelly, you're fine. Tamara, you're fine. Some of you guys give good discussion posts. But now that you know what reasoning is and how sound arguments are, I'm now going to give you a grade on your sound arguments, on your claims, because you know what they are now. So it's no longer about how big you type on this chat group anymore. It's more about how sound they are. Okay. Part 3 was really interesting. Good, Stefania. See, Stefania, great example. Part 3 was really interesting. I would have probably given you a 0 on your discussion because you just said it was really interesting. I'm sorry. Thank you, Stefania, for saying it was interesting, because it was. But why was it interesting? Why? We no longer speak that way in this class. We give reasoning. Okay, so maybe Stephanie will tell me why it was so interesting and give me about 3 premises, right? I try to participate as much as possible. Octavia, you can give good reasoning. Listen to the discussion on post. Listen to this. What is a premise? What is a claim? What is a fallacy? What is all those terms? Don't just use them, but practice them, okay? I think I'm going to begin the course so I can show you what this is about. Okay, this is Bloom's. I don't know if some of you guys actually have heard of this definition. Images. This is it. Even though I like the first one, I like the first one. Bloom's taxonomy. But I'll begin with the course. Okay. So here we go. I do this because it's much easier on my recording. So here we go. I'm going to start again. I don't know what my grade is. Tyrone, I have not worked on that. I'm going to have to get onto that as soon as possible. I am giving you a last minute try this module to get on your grades, and then I'll be able to grade. So if you guys are interested and very anxious about your grade, I usually give last minute try this module to make up with your grade. I think Tamara got ahead of myself, but this was the week to do that. Okay, so let me do that. 3, 2, 1. Good evening, classes. Professor Puente, and I'm here to let you know that we are in Module 7. I'm going to give you a chance to come up, make up your module. It's real simple. All you have to do is go back in the discussion grades, redo the discussion if you have not participated, and do the quiz for 100%. I'll do the quiz 100%. It's your last chance, guys. I probably won't do this again in the semester. And if I do, it will be for very partial grade. So make sure you catch up with the course. This is your chance, okay? This is absolutely your chance, okay? I have those participants tonight. We're going to be doing objectives. We're going to start with objectives 21, okay? And we'll go right from it to 22, 23, and 24. That's part 3, okay? So I had someone, Tyrone, ask me, how do you know what my grade is? I have not graded anything yet. I tend to grade things right before the midterm. After the makeup quiz, I will have a midterm time, which will be the next week. This module week is about the makeups. So take your time to do that. You'll still have to do discussion on here. I'm not going to give you a quiz because some of you will have to take quizzes to make up. But however, I am grading of the knowledge you have about this course now. Even the people tonight, even the people who are going to be speaking tonight, they're going to give their reasoning through the terms on the textbook. I'm no longer going to take, I love the course. I'm going to actually have to take the premises why you love the course. So please be careful on how you speak. Those who are participating tonight, make sure you put in a good effort on that reasoning, because this is how you're going to be graded now. Congratulations. You've made it past the middle of the semester, which is decisions overall, just learning, what things are. What picture we have on following along? This is going to be objective 21, Kelly. Objective 21. Last part of part 3. In my book, it's actually page 58. Okay? So thank you, Octavia. Page 58. Just listen to the discussion here, and we're going to move forward on to objective 21. I wish you guys luck out there. Give me participation on the chat group. Again, you can always class out there. You can always join the grouping. And there will be a midterm review later on, which will be used through grouping. Okay? So, objective 21. Overcoming obstacles to critical thinking. Avoid egocentric thinking. I think you guys know what egocentric means. It means thinking for yourself. Being flexible and adaptable and open-minded when working with others to avoid egocentric thinking. It's just real simple to think that you're kind of the center of the earth and that, things revolve around you. There are other souls. Look at Octavia, Tamara, and Octavia twice. Page 58, Kelly, page 58. Follow along. So they gave their time to let them know they weren't thinking egocentric, all right? Be aware of your social conditioning. Social conditioning encourages you to accept the beliefs, tradition, and values of your social group, okay? You really, guys, don't know the circle you're around until you kind of leave it. I tell people I will pay to see other people's Facebook just to be able to log on to someone else's Facebook and see how that circle thinks, how the circle believes, their own value system. That's social conditioning. The circle, the friends you have on just even Facebook, on how they're posting, this is you. This becomes you. And you may reject that notion of what they do, but it still becomes part of you. So just be careful around the people you hang around with, because they become you. And I don't think that's very far away from the truth. So Bernard says, being egocentric blocks out any possible fundamental ideas others may have. Being open-minded to ideas is an important critical reasoning skill. Yeah, I like that, Bernard. That was really good. Good example of the discussion we need to do. Avoid normalization. I'm sorry. Yes, identify outliers. This is what I was just speaking about. So an outlier is an extreme good or bad. I'll tell you this, guys. Being balanced gives you most success, okay? It gives you probably the best, it's most effective. Sometimes being balanced is a little boring, though. Just depends on how you want to do. So there is even a balance between balance and extremism, the way I see it. Okay. Um, Avoid normalization. People who assume that their ideas are normal because they have been exposed to them repeatedly are not normalizing the ideas. Be careful to think that what you think is normal. Be real careful. You could be surrounded by people that have given you the social conditioning. You see how I'm using the same terms as I'm going back and forth? Exactly how I think. Octavia says being egocentric blocks you from developing as a person. Why, Octavia? Why would you say that? Tamara says they say that you become who you hang out. If you surround yourself with positive people, you will embrace those around you. Good, Tamara. Now use some of the terms on your book. See, I'm pushing you now to use some of the terms. Look at my statement. Look what I said. Okay. I said being an outlier has some kind of evidence from your social conditioning. Two terms. I use two terms there. So I want to see, hey, Stefania says social conditioning reminds me of group theory, which is conforming and accepting others' ideas and beliefs instead of challenging. Good work, Stefania. Good work. She used very good terms from the past of the book. Why take this course, guys, if you're not going to use the terms? Use the terms in front of you. So the way you can take them out in the real world and say, look, I had this professor Puente, and he told me the group thing it sounds just like social conditioning. Perfect. Stefania is very close to 100 in her discussion grade. All right, so try to follow along with that. Okay, and then we go respect your emotions. Respect your emotions, but consider logic and appropriateness for the decisions that you're trying to make. Okay, so respect people's emotions. That's all you have to do. It's funny, we're trying to say, hey, don't listen to your emotions in this course because remember, reasoning is more important than gut feeling. But in this case, it's saying, consider their logic, their appropriateness, the people's appropriateness. So that's important, right? Objective 22, avoiding deductive reasoning fallacies. This is a really important objective, guys. Pay attention to this one, okay? Is this, you say these in a point of views and discussion grades, you're probably going to get 100. Avoid the slippery slope. I know you've heard this before. A slippery slope argument says that if one event happens, another serious or drastic event will inevitably follow. Let me explain to you. Okay. Obviously, I drank coffee when I studied, and I got 100. All that means is that when I drink coffee, I'll always get 100 at my quizzes and tests. You see how that's a slippery slope. Just because you got 100 when you drank coffee doesn't mean the second time you will too. Slippery slope. And this is more obvious, but this is more obvious now. But if you go to another kind of reasoning, it could be off. It could be off. Me watering the plants is the best thing I could do for my flowers. Yeah, it probably makes reasonable sense. But however, what if you keep watering your flowers and they drown? Be careful. Okay. Kelly says figure 3-8 is a good example of how creative thinking, critical thinking overlay. Thank you, Kelly. That's definitely a good one. 3-8. 3-8. And I believe it's on this page. Yeah. I can see that how that works well. Good work, Kelly. Tyrone says, what page are we on? Catch up. I think you may want to go back on the chat and find out. Beware of this false dilemma. So false dilemma presents a limited number of options, frequently two choices. The more options are available, okay? The options are offered in black and white terms. One is good and one is bad. Let me tell you guys, you have to think of morality. Morality is understanding what's good and bad. You've been told for a lifetime that morality exists. No one is sure. No one is sure if morality exists or not. And let me explain this. No one knows what's good or bad. This is really important for you to grasp your head around, okay? You've been told forever and ever that this is bad and this is good, and this is bad and this is good. Going to college is good, and getting out there and getting in trouble is bad. But now you have to realize, bad to who? Good to who? Okay? Because if you see it in another perspective, going to college is probably good for you. But if you have a spouse that's waiting for you at night, it may not be good for them because then you're away from home. So good and bad changes per reference point. That's really important. This is why I tell you guys, stay away from it. Try to stay away from good and bad. Don't say those words. Think of them as outcomes, absolute outcomes. Hey, in the long run, your spouse will be a happy person if you went to college because they'll see a better perspective for themselves, right? So understand that false dilemmas follow that good and bad, black and white mentality. Octavia says, beware of false dilemmas when in an argument. So when you want to fail a false conclusion to end an argument. Okay, I follow through, Octavia. And Gabriel says, Octavia, yes, that's right. False dilemmas often keep you distracted from the real issues. Good, Anna Gabriel. I'd like for you to use a little more terms on that. Use the terms, guys. Use the terms. Straighten out circular reasoning. An argument that uses circular reasoning has a claim or premise. Look at these terms, guys. Claim or premise that is little more than a restatement of the conclusion. It goes in circles. It goes in circles, right? Your thought process just goes in circles, but it really doesn't get you anywhere. Okay. I'd like to give you an example, but let me see if I can think of one. And there's one actually here, circular reasoning in figure 3-10. Quest Italian tours are the most popular. Why? Because they're better than all the others. Why? Because they're the most popular. Why? Because they're better than all the others. It just keeps going in circles. It doesn't go anywhere. So figure 3-10, real good idea of circular reasoning. Clear up equivocation. Equivocation is real simple. If you know Spanish, you understand that the word equivocación means mistake. So equivocation is an ambiguous, vague word in an argument, or may or may not be intentional. At one stop, so in other words, fine for public sunbathing, right? It may or may not be intentional. It may be a mistake on the person trying to make that logic. Okay. Stefania says, like the example in the book, different people, cultures in Latin America have different understandings of the same words we may use. So equivocations elicited between different perspectives. Yes, Stefania, another good example. Equivocation occurs when a key term or phrase is in an argument. I like that, Omorelis. I like that concept you have. You're close. Work on it a little better. Octavia says, someone who has answers for everything when you're going in circles, never ending. Yes, that's very true, Octavia. If you really argue with someone that goes in circle of reasoning, it doesn't go anywhere. It goes in circles. Okay. It's almost like catch-22. You know, hey, for you to have a job, you need to have experience, but for you to, have experience, you need a job. It goes in circles, right? And Jake Guajardo says, a lot of times morality falls into egocentric view because people begin to claim a good moral decision is a good because of reason A, B, or C. When looking at the root of it all, it is simply that individuals want to think that is right. What is right? Okay, I kind of followed along, Jake. I love all the terms you used. Nice work. That was good. Yes, Octavia, Tyrone says, because people can really seem to know exactly what they're thinking about and can be wrong. We have to be careful. The goal of false dilemma argument is usually you have to accept particular conclusion. Very good, Tyrone. I like all those. I like what you guys are thinking. You're using terms. Hey, you guys out there, discussion typers, because I know you have to watch this video. You better use some good terms. These people are using them. Don't get out of this class unless you use the terms. Understand the terms because your midterm is all about terms anyways. Okay. Avoid hasty generalizations. And objective 23. 1. Inductive reasoning involves formulating conclusions based on limited observations. Sometimes a broad conclusion is reached when very little supporting data is available. It's real simple, guys. This year, the Astros are going to win this World Series again. Why did I say that? Because they won it last year. Can you see how difficult, how broad that statement was? How that could be an equivocation in there. There is no supporting data. I didn't tell you who's coming back from the Astros. I didn't tell you how good the Dodgers or the Yankees could be because they lost out, right? I didn't tell you anything about the other teams or who we lost in the Astros. That is not a good backed up reasoning. More than ever, this course is much needed in today's world because of fake news. And it's real simple. You can read through fake news when they don't give you good reasoning. So tell them Professor Puente taught you how to look through reasoning and look through premises, and you at least need three good facts. Three good facts. Let me tell you, the Astros are coming back with quite a bit of teammates, okay, including the MVP of overall, right, and then the MVP of the World Series. Between the Dodgers, the best team, the highest paid team, and the Astros, and on top of that, they've gotten more players. Look at those three facts coming your way, three premises on why I think the Astros may win it this year. Think about it, okay? Hasty generalizations provide a broad reason. Little observation knowledge is what often backs up hasty generalizations. Thank you, Negoria. That wasn't bad. Separate cause and effect. Arguments often examine multiple events, occurrences, and situations to determine if they are related. A common error is to assume that when two or more events happen at the same time, one causes the other. You need to look up the term correlation. You don't know what one causes the other, okay? Let me give you a good example between those two. It's probably have to do with, yes, working out and dates, okay? Maybe if you work out, you'll get more dates. But maybe if you have a lot of dates, you're a person that usually works out. So what is it? What affects the other? That's why people use correlations instead of causations. But that's a little deeper. This is me being a doctoral student now. But correlations does not give you causations, okay? Just because you work out more doesn't give you more dates. But maybe you're a person that has a lot of dates, therefore you work out more. Think about that. It's just correlated. We don't know which affects the other, okay? Look for false causes. The Latin expression post hoc, ergo propter hoc, literally means after this, therefore because of this. It's a fallacy that suggests that because some event, situation, and communication precedes another, the first event must cause the later one, okay? Realize that. If it rained in the morning, then it's going to be wet in the afternoon. We have no idea. Okay, it'll be kind of understanding that it rained, therefore it's going to be wet in the afternoon. But we may not know. Something could happen in between that it all evaporates and it's dry. Okay, so look for false causes. Okay, I stated that. But objective 23.4, consider the composition. A composition error happens when you assume the qualities of part of something or also qualities of the whole. This is not logical assumption because you do not have enough evidence. You don't have the whole picture for you to state a claim. You have to realize when you're a manager and you state a claim, you better back that, because if you don't back that point up, people depend on you. Imagine if people just fire or laid off employees just because they made fallacies or equivocations. Think about how difficult that is. Make sure you back up your points every time. In fact, every time you make a decision from now on, every time you decide that something is right or incorrect, or you're going to think of Professor Puente, you're going to think, oh man, that course, that decisions course, have I backed it up with at least 3 statements, 3 premises in my head? You know what? I'm not going to get rid of that employee because I don't have the whole picture, right? Trying to make you a better manager, guys. Absolutely. Let's see what people say. Stefania says, I believe false causes are caused by the need for people to have answers and to know the causes and effects of the situation. But a lot of times things just happen. They don't necessarily need to be explained. Stefania, that's a good argument, good point. However, we are going to be managers. We are managers. I make decisions on your grades, guys. Trust me, I'm going to make sure I have the whole picture and everything's going to need an answer. Okay? So when people hold your life in their hands, you want them to be very reasonable. So let's see. Kelly King says, I always save every single email and get confirmation through emails so I have backup. Yes, Kelly. In that sense, you're thinking backup as in physical evidence backup. But what I mean is backup to your point, to your thought. Okay? So in this case, I'm thinking that email saved is good for your overall proof that you have had evidence in the past. Yes. See how that works? The thought process. My saying now is always show me evidence of your statement before we continue. Okay. Kind of see that, Octavia. Jake says, There have been policies put in place to prevent wrongful termination due to false fallacies. Everything must be looked at or nothing overlooked. Yes, Jake, but I would love for you to give me an example of that, because obviously you made a claim and that is very true and there's out there, but there's not even a link there that states where did you get that from. See how I'm getting now? I'm getting a little more evidential, a little more concrete. Okay, let's go to the last objective, becoming a critical thinker. Number one, develop intellectual humility. Let me tell you, Socrates, always think of Socrates. Socrates believed that he knew nothing. Everybody gave him credit. He was one of the smartest men of his era. But when someone came to him and they told him, listen, the Oracle, which is another person that was super smart, the Oracle has told us that you're the smartest person on earth. Socrates said, actually, that's a riddle. They're saying that, he's saying that, the Oracle, because they want me to say, yes, I am. He's right. But for me stating that, it would just mean that I'm not. Because the smartest person on earth would know that they're not the smartest. Intellectual humility, okay? Be a critic, not a cynic. And there's two different things here. Critic is criticism to help you. A cynic is to get you down. Two totally opposite things. When you try to help somebody through some kind of ideas and trying to help, make sure you're doing it for their own good. If you're doing it to help yourself, that's probably you're probably becoming a cynic. Challenge your assumptions and belief. Always challenge them. What you believe, what you know, have you been challenging them? I encourage you to look deep. Talk to your pastor. Tell your pastor, hey, I am challenging everything I believe. Do you mind speaking to me more about what I'm supposed to believe? Talk to your lawyer. Talk to anybody about that. Why should I believe what you're telling me? Why should you believe what I'm telling you? Challenge it the way you truly, totally understand it. Octavia says, for example, when I said I don't trust Wikipedia and Mr. Puente wanted me to provide evidence, all I could say was my previous instructor told me so. Not a good reason for me to argument. Man, Octavia just made 100 on her discussion grade. And not because it was me and her going back and forth, but I did try to give you, Octavia, an example earlier on how I would be having arguments. And argument is not bad. Remember, the argument definition of the book here. The argument definition of the book means having a point. And I showed you evidence on Wikipedia where they're showing their references. So good, Octavia, very good. Octavia just made 100 in her grade. So I appreciate that. Tyrone says, for example, we had a bad hurricane in 2017. We can't assume that we're going to have another one in 2018 just because because of the past. We can't just assume things. Tyrone, that would have been 100 had you just actually stated that was a false cause. That was a false cause. That would have been 100, but you were close. And Gabriel says, challenging our assumptions and beliefs, in my opinion, allow us to learn new things and possibly help us deal with new situations, like when people only believe that there's only one way to skin a cat. Yes, Gabriel, that was good. Close, but I saw a couple of terms. I wish you would have picked up on new more terms. We're almost done, guys. Keep your last comments here so you can get good grades here. You guys do look like most of you look like you've gotten really, really good grades. I'm proud of you. I'm very proud of you. Number 4, work through complex and issues complex. Thomas Edison once said that thinking is the hardest job on the planet. I believe that, guys. Let me tell you this, and let me take a drink before I can explain this because of my throat. You all go to college, okay, for one reason and one reason only, to think, to absolutely think. The people that don't think are told how to think by those thinkers, the college seekers, the college degree. The word degree means degree of knowledge. So when you go get a degree, you put it on your wall. That's not a diploma. It's not a piece of paper. It means that you know this plus more. The degree of knowledge is higher. And when it comes time for you to get a job, it'll be to tell others what to do. You're thinkers. You're critical thinkers. So obviously you got to be backed up very, very well. Why did you make that decision? Let me tell you this. This semester, I bought 2 shares of Amazon. Why? Because Amazon has had a great fourth quarter in 2017. Two, because there are multiple scholars stating that Amazon will get to $1 trillion market capitalization. And three, Amazon is beating everyone in every industry, including Walmart, Google, Apple. They're just going at it with their products, and they're actually showing very well. Right now, Amazon market capitalization is around 700 million. So that's from 700 million to 1 trillion. It's about 300 million. And I believe that growth will show up well in my decision. See how I back that up, guys? Well backed up. I didn't just speak for knowing. Let me give you a bad example. Amazon's going to be great because I order from them all the time and I see it everywhere. Bad concept, bad argument. Okay. And the last one says, have confidence in your reasoning ability. Make sure you know that you're a critical thinker, but your reasoning comes up very well. Okay. So let's see who's last. Anna Gabriel's going to give it a good try. She says critical thinking is essentially when it comes to solving problems. Just because some problems might have simplistic solutions, it doesn't mean that more complex issues will be solved with simple solutions. Okay. Melanie says working through complex issues can be intimidating and easy to give up on when you can't find solutions right away. You have to work through the problems and not just come up with easy solutions. I'm sorry, Melanie, I failed to see where you used terms there. So you may want to add a better description there. Stefania says, having confidence is important. I've been hesitant in previous jobs, which showed my insecurity, but when I began believing myself and my abilities, I was seen taking more seriously about coworkers. Stefania, I'm thinking using confidence in this last one. Kelly says, I like how the book states, because skilled communicators can be flawed arguments, sound reasonable, critical thinking